Welcome, viewer. So as much as I love the 86 movie Decepticon designs, it's only recently that we've been getting good figures of Cyclonus, Galvatron, and most especially, Scourge. This poor tracker has had a whole string of tough love since the concept stages with Laurel Deary's weirdly human-esque character models. And because of Scourge having those signature Castlevania vampire wings, he was basically defaulted to being the first notable shell former in the entire franchise. And then for a while, you had a bunch of non-space entities taking a name for themselves and go into a bunch of vastly different directions. Whether it's a Nemesis-themed Laser Rod Optimus Prime repaint for RID, not that one, or it's a Predator-style wingless King Ghidorah for Cybertron and Galaxy Force. Even the Beast Hunters Laserback repaint Vertebrake was gonna be called Scourge. And as if that's not enough, there's gonna be another one! The elusive antagonist for the upcoming Rise of the Beast, where he apparently still does the faction symbols of the bots that he kills? Won't lie though, that does sound kinda wicked. Meanwhile, with the OG knobhead, it's been equally ropey getting him a new toy for the modern fandom. Really, until last year, it basically fell between the apparently good Reveal the Shield Scourge, which had to update him from a flying slipper to a flying wing, and more recently, Titan's Return Scourge, who we shall not discuss as I do not own one and hopefully never will. And then there was this other Scourge from the short-lived and quickly forgotten Titanium series. What was the point of that toy line again? And finally, BotCon Scourge, who was apparently supposed to be a Shatterglass version despite existing in the Timelines universe? I don't know, it's complicated. So thank Primus then that we got a fully G1 faithful version of the Thundercracker Resurrection Project courtesy of Studio Series 86. Just a pity that no one could find him anywhere. Seriously, I only found my one at In-Demand Toys after subbing for the notifications for when he finally turned up, so yeah, thanks for that. But finally, here we are with Studio Series 86 Voyager Class Scourge. I will start off with what I can politely call an alt mode, and that's being generous. Like, what even is this? Like, I'm guessing it's supposed to be a spaceship, but there's no wings or thrusters or anything else to indicate that it is a spaceship. So like, is it a boat? How exactly are you gonna get a use out of a boat in space? And if it's a spaceship, then how exactly is it supposed to fly? Like, you got these vents in the back here, but they seem more like incidental set dressing? What are you? How can I understand you? I have no idea. So it's a good thing that I don't care. Because vehicle build logistics aside, this space slipper at least does get the imagination going a little bit. Like, part of what is so appealing about the post-movie characters is that they went so hard at making things as spacey and weird as possible. Granted, not all of them had the class of Cyclonus' jet mode or the out-there wackiness of the Terracons, but they still had an alien charm all their own that didn't look like anything before and honestly not even anything since. Like, you wouldn't look at this elongated blue flatbread with triple boosters and think it was Sideswipe, would you? But as far as actual pros go, there is a decent amount of detail going along the surface. I mean, it is just all lines and round bits, but it does help to give it a little bit of class. I actually really enjoyed this little slopes in the middle to help get this sense of aerodynamism. And I've always been a major sucker for Scourge's colors, with the dark blue on the top and the light blue making it look reinforced. A pity then that it's ruined by this misaligned Deceptor brand. The matchup is so close, but it's off by a few millimeters and it's just bugging the crap out of me. Also, the vehicle mode only really looks good if you're looking at it from the top or just straight on. You give a glimpse to the side and you can notice a bunch of undercarriage junk that's basically common with most flight-based Transformers, and then you flip him over and see he's basically hiding behind his wings like he's about to flash you. And then again, given Scourge's abnormal design and magically making it work as a vehicle, I think we'll let it pass. As for accessories, he comes with this box standard rifle, which you can just plug into the side like that. There's also supposed to be a laser beam accessory, but I haven't seen it since I gave it to my little brother. And for a right barrel lash, you can reconfigure him into what I affectionately call the animation error mode. Oh, Scourge, why are you this? So while this vehicle mode is weird and honestly kinda dumb, it's still a perfectly serviceable astral boat with a little side of wackiness. And that's about all I can say about the vehicle mode, so let's just move on. Transformation is about as simple as you can get with Scourge. At its most base elements, you're basically cracking him open like an Easter egg and getting all the robot bits into place. Though it is pretty clever how the whole head unit is basically on its own armature that swings up and folds into the torso. And going into robot mode, I always forget to turn this little headpiece, so keep your eye open for that. As a robot then, Scourge probably has the most flamboyant silhouette of the Unicron created Decepticons. That is, while Galvatron has the arm cannon / crown and Cyclonus has those buddy ears / wing pieces, Scourge is flaunting a massive vampire cape that covers his entire robot, complete with popped color. It is such a power move with the wings splayed outwards and looking like they can cut you just by brushing past you. Granted, from every other angle aside from front, it basically looks like the entire vehicle mode just stuck onto his back. But the fact that it can pack this much while keeping the robot mode as relatively clean as possible was a goddamn miracle. The head sculpt is definitely a weird one though. Like, I'm all for the handlebar mustache and the beard giving the illusion he has two different chins. But then you come to the headpiece and you have to wonder what Laurel Deary was going for. Like, is it meant to be religious headwear? Is it meant to be Galvatron's personal hype hype man like was to ZO. Either way, they're voicing support for a narcissistic psychopath. But who honestly cares? The main thing is that it looks cool. I mean, if Cyclonus can get away with looking like this, then this is basically small fry. The arms are pretty standard with the signature 80s movie emphasis on design trends. The arm molding is decently multi-layered and jaggedy, leading up to these hands with his signature pink claws. Why does he have those? What makes Scourge so special that he's the only one that has those? It's even more noticeable when you realize he has an open left hand for no specific reason. I mean, it's not like it helps him hold the gun any better, so why is it like that? But again, who honestly cares? Gotta say, that Decepticon logo is looking a bit bloated, though it does kind of help distract from how otherwise bland the torso is. Like, he has the detail where it counts, like the ridged abs and the braces underneath his neck, but the most I can say about the torso proper is that he has one. And it's kind of the same thing with the legs, frankly. I mean, they have plenty of sharp angles, and it does kind of give the impression that he's wearing knee-high boots that he bought out of your local golf shop, but I can pretty much just summarize it as their legs and they help him stand up. And they're supposed to be weak paint around the thighs, though mine seems to be intact. I tell you, those repro labels better spruce this guy up. As for movement, it's basically as good as it gets. You got your standard ball-jointed head with universal shoulders that are only slightly hampered by the wings. You can also adjust the wings to give him a bit more of a dramatic flair. Bicep swivels and elbow bend complemented by rotation of the wrist. Waist swivel goes pretty far and it's accented by forwards and backwards and outwards movement at the hips. Cheeky slightly indented thigh swivel, but make sure that the paint on yours doesn't chip or flake off. And all of it is mounted up with decently stiff knees and slightly restricted ankle pivots. Obviously, you can plug the gun into his hand, and he's surprisingly compatible with the combat and fossil systems of Siege and Kingdom. And naturally, the main inbox gimmick of the studio series is this cardboard diorama. So of course, it'd be Scourge's only memorable scene where he's reformatted by Unicron alongside Kickback and Shrapnel. Seriously, does Scourge actually do anything in the movie aside from reaffirming that Unicron owns them? I think flippin' Daniel did more than he did. But I've shown off the background and now it goes in the bin. So, Scourge then. Is he good? Yeah, I guess. Like, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but he doesn't really do anything particularly special. He's basically what people wanted in a Scourge toy, and he doesn't do more than that. Does that make him bad? Of course not. Just feels like he should have been here earlier without the studio series clout or the 32 quid invoice. But if this is indeed the best Scourge we're getting, then we could be much worse off. Besides, now we're one step closer to completing the trinity of movie comboys. Galvatron cannot come quick enough. So thanks to you guys for watching, and thanks to In Demand Toys for hooking me up with this guy. But until next time, because there always will be one, this is Callum Lewis, the Media Hood, signing off.